It's been almost a year since I made that update video, which means, well, I didn't stick to my word, and I apologize for that. Unfortunately, a ton of things happened and many complications arose, which definitely prevented me from releasing pretty much anything. But to make it up to you guys, I do have a bunch of videos that I'm going to be releasing soon. One of the most popular videos on our channel was actually that Every Queen album reviewed video, which got over 1,000 views. And now I'm really thankful for that, and thank you guys for really watching that because that video took me so much time to make. It took me over 4 months just to put that all together, and I'm glad it actually paid off. Now, as proud as I am of that video, I do think I could have done a little bit better. So, as a follow-up to that video, I'm going to do pretty much the same thing, except with a different band this time. Now, based off the title of the video, you probably already know what band it is. Yup, the Beatles. The reason I chose the Beatles was because of several issues regarding them that I've kind of took notice to. Now, when we think of the greatest band ever, for some reason, it's always them. And when we think of overrated bands, some also think it's them. So, to take a side on this position, last year I wondered if I could look at every Beatles album and pretty much do exactly what I did in the Queen video. Now, I went through the same procedures as the Queen album video and gave my thoughts. However, a few problems arose from this. First of all, artists in the 50s and 60s were much more single-oriented rather than album-oriented. This meant that many huge Beatles songs such as Hey Jude, I Wanna Hold Your Hand, She Loves You, etc. were not actually released on any of their studio albums, which made talking about them in a video which is pretty much organized around albums a lot more difficult. Next was how I was going to rate them. Now, I felt that in the Queen albums video, I was a bit too nice to some songs ratings-wise. Songs such as Seven Seas of Rye, the instrumental version obviously, and Body Language, I think should have gone much lower ratings. If I tried rating Beatles songs, which I did actually do by the way, it was going to be a much difficult task because let's just say some Beatles songs are really difficult to review. I'm looking specifically at You Revolution 9. But anyways, this is why I never got around to ever finishing that video. But now that I've had a year to kind of think about how I'm going to do this, I decided to just kind of borrow a rating system from pretty much the inspiration to all this, Pie Guy Rules, who used a good meh and bad system for his SpongeBob, every episode of SpongeBob reviewed. Now, I'll still be ranking these albums, but they won't necessarily be based off a score like in the Queen albums video. I'll also talk about where I'd rank the individual songs themselves. Now, those two rankings, though, would be displayed at the overview section of the album, which is pretty much at the end of the video itself. I think it'll make sense once I begin Beatle month, and the last thing I want to make clear is that I'll be analyzing these Beatles songs much more thoroughly than I did with the Queen songs. Now, without further ado, let's start with Please Please Me, which will be out on the date listed here.